Our expectations for silver and gold can be very different from person to person. Some might think it's going to shoot the moon. Others perhaps a little bit more down to earth and think that it's just something to hold and enjoy. Whatever your expectations are for gold and silver, they will probably change over time. And those changing expectations will have a big impact on how we as stackers, investors and collectors look at our gold and silver. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a warm welcome to you all joining me for another Precious Metal Ramble. And today I want to talk about expectations when it comes to buying gold and silver. Whether it's a bullion grade coin or a collectible proof coin, I think expectations play one of the biggest factors into our decisions to even buy in the first place, and then what we are going to achieve with these wonderful coins at the other end. And I do think that expectations have and continue to shift for new and seasoned stackers out there alike, and it is, I think, a fascinating topic, and one which isn't always the most positive thing for gold and silver, because I do think some of the expectation shifts that we've had as a community, and I'm broad stroking here as a community, that certain coins will just absolutely take off in value 3, 4, 5, 6 times their price. That's unrealistic. That's a false economy, and it's not healthy. It's not good, and it actually yields quite a lot more visceral kind of hate towards the community for flippers. So there are a whole host of different things I'm going to address in today's video. If you are enjoying it as we go, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button and share it through on your own social medias. That would be very helpful for everything we do here on YouTube. And if you are enjoying our content and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. So, expectations on bullion. Let's talk about that first. So, I think one of the things that is evident is that the world has changed quite significantly in just the last 2 years. Since the beginning of 2020, we have seen a gigantic shift in ethos, I think, for a lot of stackers. There are a lot more new stackers as well. However, a lot of the stackers that have joined in, people who are buying silver and gold, maybe you're not even calling yourself a stacker, just investors in gold and silver. Perhaps now the expectation is that gold and silver will and should perform a lot better than perhaps it is. And that expectation is not necessarily the most correct thing and most likely scenario to happen. A lot of you long-term stackers will know that a lot of the time you have to hold this stuff for an awful long time to really see the good for it. It is difficult, this whole world of holding physical silver and gold. But there are a lot of people in this world who are now after quick fix investments. This new modern wave of young investors out there are very keen on a quick turnaround and a quick return, and sometimes if that doesn't come, that can really prove to be quite negative for people, and that can lead to quite visceral hate and or kind of blaming for reasons why. And that's one of the things that you see a lot with silver and gold, is that you often have this almost like it's being, tamped down or something. It's been artificially manipulated by the Fed or by the banksters, and that visceral kind of hatred towards that is not good, in my opinion. Yeah, some people like that and they like the fun of it, the memes of it, but it's really not for me. And I do think that the long-term expectation that one should have for silver is that it will go up slowly over time, but it's not a fast turnaround, get-rich-quick scheme like certain other stocks and shares might be. Ultimately, it is a slow burner, and the same can be said for gold. So the expectation change that I see, certainly within the gold and silver markets in my tenure here on YouTube since 2016, I've been buying silver since 2015, so there's quite a long period there, and it has changed quite significantly, in my opinion. That change has also followed through into collectibles, and I've got here actually the Raw Mint's in trouble when they actually send you a giant box of all the proof coins. I mean, it was huge. A giant box of all the proof coins that they've got wrong recently, and they finally put a box together with all of the ones that are replacements, and I'm very happy to report that they're all great, they're all perfect, which is fantastic. And that's one of the expectation shifts that I have noticed most certainly of late, that there are, I think, a lot more people who are very keen on getting hold of as best a proof coin as they can. And I just looking back in my mind to think, has this expectation really changed, because for me, I remember back when I started buying some proof coins, the Queen's Beasts were the first proof coins that I looked to buy, and my expectations were there that a proof coin is a perfect specimen of, and if it had some nasty dings, dents, scratches and whatever, it would of course go back. So my expectation hasn't changed, but I do think that there's now a greater awareness out there of what a proof coin should be, and there's a lot more people who are now, I think, looking at collectibles rather than just bullion as an investment. And one of the reasons for that is most certainly because of things like the Great Engravers series, where you've seen some absolutely crazy headlines of coins tripling, quadrupling, even more than that in their value overnight, basically. And that's just an unrealistic expectation of what proof coins can and should do. I've made plenty of videos talking about how proof coins, 9 out of 10 proof coins, will lose you money, if not more. There are plenty of examples on second-hand sites, eBay and the forum and everywhere else, of older proof coins from the Royal Mint just being sold for scrap, for spot, even less than spot sometimes. And that hasn't really, I think, fundamentally changed, other than there is this artificial market of coin flippers that are thinking and expecting huge returns on their coins. Now, there has been this opportunity for a lot of people to make a lot of money on some of their coins. You just got to have a look at a prime example of the latest series from the Royal Mint, the Great Monarchs series, and these are now actually, I think, exchanging hands for twice what their issue price was over on eBay, if not a little bit more. And, the question in my mind is, really, at this early stage, is that really something that's very likely to hold value over a long period? And the honest answer is no. And it's the similar thing with the Great Engravers coins, the Gothic portraits. I think a lot of people jumped on a bandwagon expecting huge returns on their investments for these coins, only to be pretty disappointed when some of the latest auction results have yielded quite low returns. In fact, on some of the denominations, almost losses when you factor in selling fees. So the expectation of profit on proof coins, I think that has changed. So in terms of quality, I think our expectations are still very high, and they should be very high, and we should be continuing to push back on places like the Royal Mint when they don't get it right. And I don't like making videos where I keep on berating the Royal Mint and selling them to get it bloody right, but if that's what I need to do, if I need to be that crusader here on YouTube to keep that up, then I will. But I don't want to do that, and I want to get my coins perfect. But for me, it's never been the expectation of making huge amounts of profit on these. I am in this for the long run when it comes to a lot of these proof coins, and I do genuinely think that having a collectible edition coin that's popular within the market will hold significant value over time. And that shift has, I think, been something I've noticed in not just coins, but all over the place. There has been this, I think, paradigm shift for a lot of stackers and collectors out there for these new coins that are coming out that are desirable in their presentation units. We see so many different bullion coins right now. And bullion coins are great, and just stacking them is fantastic, but they really don't set the world on fire anymore. There are just too many editions out there, and bullion sets, and mints making stuff, and private mints making things. There are countless, and that's definitely changed since I started stacking. We can only see how that's going to impact the future of getting proof versions of coins. And I do think that is a viable market, but it is most certainly one that I'm not expecting to make me lots and lots of cash on, which is why you'll see a lot on my channel, of these sort of 1 ounce silver versions, because I do think that these are great coins to have at a limited, amount of risk. There are certain gold that I will get as proof coins, because I do think that something like the Seymour Beast set will be rather nice and rather fancy looking at the end, and I buy for other reasons than just making profit. But for things like the silvers, I do think that there is potential scope for growth on them, and there's the reason why I've got 3 of these out here on the table. These 3 represent a potential way for me at the end of the series to look to maybe cash in a couple if they are, looking at the right price point to pay for the set that I'm going to keep. And that's kind of the mentality that I've always had with some of these proof releases like the Queen's Beasts, and that expectation hasn't changed, that a full set of coins I think will be quite desirable in that long term. So lots of different shifts are happening and have happened for both proof coins and silver and gold. One of the big things that I kind of want to finish this video on, which I suppose is more of a video in its own right, is just the expectation of silver and gold's price points and how that relates to, you know, the changing, shifting world that we're in. I don't personally subscribe to the idea that there will be this huge jump in silver and gold prices anytime soon. As we've seen just this week, there's been a big dip in silver and gold prices. It's, you know, up and down all over the shop. And I think a lot of people have this expectation of silver and gold being the next huge thing, huge winning bet to have. You know, you just got to remember that the world doesn't necessarily follow a lot of the ways of thinking of people who wish things to happen. You know, there are a lot of people who think and wish that the Fed will end or the dollar will fail, and so why would you want that? Why? That's going to be absolutely the worst thing that could ever happen to the world, barring very large bombs going off everywhere, which we're arguably relatively close to now anyway. So there's a whole host of different things that have changed people's expectations for gold and silver, and that was just a little bit of my interpretation of some of them, and I'd love to know what you guys think and your change of expectation when it comes to gold and silver. Do you think it's a good thing as well, everybody's expectations changing and having changed? Do you think the horizon is bright for gold and silver? I'd love to know, so comment down below. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed my video, then you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, it's free to do. Just hit that subscribe button and you won't miss future videos. Thank you all and all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.